Beyonce, sweetie, I am so sorry. I'm Anna Rumor with Pop Culture.
And I'm Nick Valdez from comicbook.com.
And this is Dragged, where we offer our unfiltered opinions on RuPaul's Drag Race, because we're going deep with some iconic celebrities today, and Frankie Grande, which I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do Frankie like that. I just had to do it. We're going in on the 10th episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 15 today, and we also get the night of a million, that's too many Beyoncés, a night of 1,000 Beyoncés.
There's a million Beyoncés. Come on, it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Nick, I'm curious what you thought of this week's episode, because it was a real high highs and real low lows for me.
Yeah, it was a real 50-50 of an episode, right? There was a lot happening here. It is a lot that I'm still kind of processing, to be honest.
We'll be here for you in your time of need as we process. The girls get paired up with each other and with a celebrity. We've got 𝐿𝐴𝐿 and Frankie Grande, who I've now forgotten. I've shaded him. I'm sorry, Frankie. I apologize twice. And they have to do some kind of interview with him. It felt difficult to judge for me because everyone had a very different kind of challenge. Some people were cooking, some people were, Barbara Waltersing in the chairs, some people were on a golf cart. What did you think about what they had to do?
I don't know. It was definitely very a lot to take in, especially when you start out with 𝐿𝐴𝐿, who is probably the most to take in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Production told them to give these girls a challenge, and 𝐿𝐴𝐿 took that personally.
Luxx, Mistress, and Selena all struggled with her in different ways. Luxx, I think, fared the best in terms of literally rolling with it as they were in the golf cart, and she kind of was just like, she was able to maintain a good vibe, which is something I can say that Mistress and Selena didn't do. Mistress, it was surprising to see that she has a weakness. Who knew?
Ooh, a little nick in her armor. I was surprised too, but whenever she got there, she just wasn't matching energies with 𝐿𝐴𝐿. I don't know why she couldn't kiki back and forth with her, because that's what she does in the workroom, but I was surprised. She really didn't do well with that. And then Selena was just talking over her the entire time, which I understand because 𝐿𝐴𝐿 goes on tangents, but she needed to just embrace that this was going to be a weird kind of interview and just Sasha Colby throw the cards.
Yeah, love the tangents,
Yes.
but 𝐿𝐴𝐿 just kind of ate them all up for lunch. It was just no contest. Unfortunately, they got hit with a bad hand,
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same for Sasha and Marsha, who have Chato, who, Chato, we love her. She's done a million appearances across TV. Yes, but even Sasha struggled, which is she also has a weakness.
It's a really tough challenge. Sasha was struggling in the beginning, not knowing how to take her energy and kind of give it back. Once she threw her cards in the air and said, whatever, we're just gonna go on and talk about pigs and eating papayas and that kind of thing, I thought she did really well. I think she recovered very well.
Yeah, I wish she maintained that energy through the whole thing. Maybe it's because it was live. She didn't really kind of click and make that decision until it's so late in it. But if she just kind of went from the beginning and was like, oh, okay, these cards are going to work, I'm just going to play with Chato for a little bit, I think it would have fared better. But at least she did better than Marsha, who did a lot of the, you and I both have this job of you're talking to people who we recognize on TV and everywhere, right?
Right.
And I felt so bad for Marsha because you can see the gears turning, but I don't think she understood a word Chato said.
I think she was having a really hard time understanding her accent. And I can't really blame her being in that moment and trying to really be present and also not really getting what she's saying. Her face, I felt was betraying a little bit more of the panic inside than it should have, but I don't blame her for being what do? I literally don't know what she's telling me.
Oh yeah, and that's the other thing. I've been in that position many times. Many times.
Oh yeah. We've all had a faulty Zoom connection or a very quiet phone call that you're just trying to muster your way through as an interviewer. It's very relatable, but yeah, you got to do a better job at hiding it. Then we have Frankie Grande, who I know I have shaded twice just for funsies. No problem with him there. He was actually the best interviewee. He had Malaysia, Lucy, and Anitra. And I thought he was a very, very kind celebrity to them.
Yes, Frankie Grande knows the game, right? He knows the deal. He's been in tons of interviews, tons of TV appearances, tons of guest starring things. He knows what to do. And so it wasn't like Love Connie, where he was actively trying to ruin it. It wasn't like Chado, where, Chado's just Chado. You know, Frankie Grande understands that, hey, this is what I'm here for. So even with all the shade on him, he's a professional when it comes to this stuff, and and it comes through especially well, like with Malaysia when he has to interview her essentially, because she
was giving nothing.
She was literally giving nothing. Malaysia's so shy. We've seen her through the competition as such a shy person, and it really stood out here when Frankie had to do all the work. Like, was Frankie the one trying to win the challenge? I don't think so, no?
That was really tough to watch. She was doing easily the worst job for me just because it was like so deeply low energy. It didn't even seem like she was trying. It seemed like she got in there and kind of realized, ooh, I'm not gonna be good at this, and just gave up, which was really tough to watch because I love Malaysia.
Yeah, it was tough, and especially when you counteract that to Lucy, who I think did the best out of everybody. Like, I love taking shots at Lucy. I will forever do so until she makes it to like the final four or whatever, right? Like, but she really did do the best here. Like, Lucy is personable. She's clearly most likely done stuff like this before, and you can tell,
Yeah, I would not be surprised if she had a lot of hosting experience because, man, she, Barbara Walters who? Like, she did a great job. She really got the questions in, whatever. They said you didn't follow up on the weird spider story, but I don't know if I understood that well enough to follow up either. But then Anitra also did a really good job because she was nervous at the beginning. She had to do was kind of like weird power walking through the Hollywood trailers. But I thought she loosened up and had a really good time and got some questions in there. I thought she did great.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, she started off nervous, but as we've seen with Frankie Grande, he's a very giving type of interview. He makes sure to have a good energy, and Anitra felt that energy, and by the end of it, it was super cute. Like, yes, oh, good for you, Anitra. But Lucy did the best of the three, as much as I hate to admit it. I'm so catty about that, but
I think she did the best of everyone. Yeah. In the challenge.
I would go as far to say that too.
It's a different story when we move on to the runway, which is the night of 1,000,000 or 1,000 Beyonces, however you want to say it. And we start off on a high point with Luxx in this 2006 Kennedy Center's honor Bob Mackie gown, which is something that Ru has actually worn in the past, which was another fun little layer.
Yeah, like, I thought Luxx won with this. As soon as she came out, it was like, there's the winner.
She looked so beautiful. This gown was exactly what Beyonce was wearing, which I have some trouble with the Night of 1,000 Whatevers runway because it is just celebrity recreation, and sometimes the outfits they can choose from are kind of limited to like red carpet Getty Images ones, and you don't get the most iconic looks, and it's tough to judge on style when you're actually just tasked with recreating a look. So, tough for me, but she did an amazing job right off the bat.
Yeah, I agree. It was a good way to start this off, especially when you have Mistress coming next with she goes all the way back to the beginning with Destiny's Child Grammys look. And Mistress looked absolutely gorgeous, but those puppets was added camp, added all those other layers, and I was in love.
Oh, everybody loves puppets. She was so funny. I mean, like, coming out as 3/3 of Destiny Child is so good. She also looked beautiful, so it was a good recreation of the dress and the look, but she also had puppets, you know, like stapled to her shoulder, which was so funny. This is why we love Mistress, you know, she can stumble and have a tough time and then come back with one of my favorite runways that I've seen this season.
Yeah, I almost wish she had to lip sync so we could have seen her deal with the puppets, you know, maybe use them, maybe like figure something out with there, but I'm
oh my God. We were robbed, now I'm mad.
And then, you know, it was a good night for Selena, too, who, you know, she delivered on a Grammys look. It's, you know, it was very glamour. It was very, like, it was the most dressed up I've seen Selena. You know, the only gimmick that didn't work for me was, like, the RuPaul Grammy heads.
Yeah.
I feel like if she would have edited those out, which is a common thing with Selena, right? Editing, making sure to do less. If she would have not done those, it would have been a better look overall. But what did you think?
I was so happy that we got to see this more glamorous, fitted style on Selena because, you know, it's just not her normal drag style. It's fun to see them switch it up. I thought she looked beautiful. It's not my favorite Beyonce look in general, but again, sometimes they have to choose from kind of weird looks. But she looked great. I thought it was really well done. Her hair was perfect. Again, I could also lose the Ru heads, but other than that, you know, good to see her shape a little bit too.
I mean, that's especially true for Sasha. We saw
my God.
her shape indeed.
Her shape, I can't even. She does this 2006 BET Awards look. She's got the body applique. She's looking so good. She's bringing back the hard front wig single-handedly. God, she's just so good. She's so good, so beautiful. Oh.
I know when she walked out, I was like, oh, Sasha also won. Like
exactly. It's like, how can you not like look at that woman and say, well, she said that maybe she's the inspiration behind Sasha Fierce, and I believe it, honestly.
I'm still a little, you know, I'm kind of a mistress
women,
on this, you know?
Nick.
It's a fun dream to have, you know? It's a fun dream to have. And
I'm here for her delusion.
yeah, it's a little drag delusion, right? Like, at least Sasha did much better than Marsha, who is recreating, like, I don't even know if recreating is the right word, right?
She's inspired by the Title X Brooklyn 2016 gala or whatever it was. I don't know what she was doing here because it wasn't the same dress that Beyonce was wearing, and that's the challenge, right?
Yeah, it looked kind of frumpy on her.
Yeah.
It was a shame too because Marsha's been doing like much better in these challenges in terms of, you know, what she's presenting. But here, it both worked and didn't work. And so it came out in the middle and just kind of, especially when you compare it to Sasha and what's next, right?
Right. Oh my gosh. Anitra comes out in this like on the run tour look, a bit more current look, and man, she looked so good in it. It's such a fun look to recreate.
Yeah, it was fun. Like, you know, it's tough because Beyonce's real version of the outfit is probably like $1 billion trillion, you know, so.
Had to cut back on the rhinestones a little bit, but you know, it's fine. We're balling on a budget here. It's okay.
but Anitra did a really good job with it. It's a fun look.
And then we've got Malaysia in her 2018 Global Citizens Awards look. I was excited to not see her in pink, nor white, nor a gown, although she was in black and white, so I guess, you know.
Yeah, it's another black and white look. Yeah, she looked great, you know? It looked great on her. It's just, this is tough, right? Like, it goes back to what you were saying of, like, there's only so much we can criticize about these looks.
Right.
You know, it's either, oh, it looks like them or it doesn't. And here, she looked like Beyonce, so kudos.
Well, next up, we have kind of a split vote here. I'm curious to know what you think about Lucy's 2011 VMAs look. This is the baby bump reveal look. Very iconic look. And then Lucy comes out and she reveals no baby bump. I am puzzled.
Where's the baby? Where is the baby, Anna? Where is the baby? I don't like. I was so upset. You know, you can't do that look without the bump, because if you don't have the bump, I start looking at the rest of the look. Because yeah, it might seem like just like a sparkly pregnancy suit, I guess, from like, but on Beyonce, when you have when it's worth $1 billion trillion, you know, you start to notice the details that don't exactly match up, and this is where I can knock Lucy again. Hey, I'm back in my bag for this one.
Oh, good. It's nice to have you back.
You know, and the details didn't quite match up. You know, without the baby bump, I was forced to look at those details, and you know, it's where I'm like, okay, you probably could have did this better, maybe match it a little more. But why no baby, Lucy? After all these costumes that Lucy's done, she's done so many over-the-top looks, you know, in her style. Where's the bump? Where is it?
Truly a weird time to be like, no, I don't want to go campy with this. It's like you've been campy with everything, even when they've begged you not to be. And you don't want to add in a little baby bump for one of the most iconic Beyonce moments, one of the most iconic like VMAs moments of all time.
Yeah.
Such a weird choice. Such a weird choice.
Yeah, it's like top 3 moments of like all that stuff. And you know, it's to not have the baby bump Lucy, it's so egregious that I understand why she's not even in contention for the win. When we get to the top 3, it's Luxx, Sasha, and Lucy, and I understand why Lucy's immediately safe, because yeah, she might have done the best in the challenge, but these runway looks.
It's tough because I right off the bat would be like, well, Lucy should win. She did the best in the challenge. And then she comes out, no bump, no nothing, basically, looking like a cater waiter. And I, you know, immediately was like, well, I don't know, Luxx and Sasha did really well too. I would have given it to Luxx though, personally.
Yeah, like overall score, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, she didn't do too badly in the challenge, and her look was super strong here, you know, and Sasha, on the other hand, I wouldn't have picked Sasha for the winner. I would have picked Luxx, but also I understand it. Like, it's
totally.
Sasha, you know?
Yeah, she still did a great job on both fronts, you know? Maybe I'm just looking for a little variety because it's like, well, Sasha wins, Sasha wins, Sasha wins. But also, I always want Sasha to win, so I'm conflicted. I have a Gemini moon, you know? It's just, that's the way I am. I don't know what that means. Anyways, let's move on to the bottoms. We've got Mistress Selena and Malaysia as our bottom 3, and I agree. I maybe would have switched in Marsha for Mistress, but she has had such highs that the first time she trips up, they're of course going to put her in the bottom.
Yeah, it's, you know, it made a lot of sense. You know, it's Mistress, she's done so well, and when she kind of stumbles so hard at this point of the game, maybe it's a reminder, hey, Mistress, let's not have you this close to the bottom again.
Yeah, truly. Can you do better next time?
Yeah.
I'm sure she will. We'll talk about that in a second. But it does end up being Selena versus Malaysia, lip syncing to Single Ladies. I thought that was the correct bottom 2. The song was a little tough for me because that is a song that has a dance associated with it. So I don't know. It's just, where's School in Life? You know, where's Partition? That would be great.
I'm wondering about like licensing fees, you know?
Yeah, right, honestly. That's the real tea, honestly.
Yeah, and you know, it's tough because if you don't do the choreo, you immediately start thinking, oh, where's the choreo? So that's an unfortunate thing. Selena did do some of it. She did do a lot of it compared to Malaysia, who was just kind of feeling the vibes.
Yeah,
and you know,
she was feeling like going home. She didn't do anything. I mean, she did, but not really.
Yeah, it was one of those where I thought they were both going home because like Selena literally gave it everything, you know, in terms of like her outfit was definitely not the same as when she started.
Her hair over there.
Her hair, it was just falling off all over the place,
Oh,
and
my
you know.
Lord.
She is picked to stay, and it ultimately makes sense. You know, maybe it was Malaysia's time to go.
I like her. I don't want anyone to go at this point, but the Lollapalooza, she wasn't a strong lip syncer there. This was a tough week. you know, her ball
Yeah.
didn't really gag me any specific way.
We're getting serious now, and that's
Yeah.
what it is. We're getting rid of all the the fun ones, you know.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We're getting down to like brass tacks here. We can't just have people
Yeah.
around because we like them.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the case for Malaysia. I like Malaysia as much as we, you know, I really hope there's no like pink and white look next week.
No, actually, there's a comedy challenge next week. It's the stand-up. So she should like thank production for eliminating her.
Yeah. Malaysia, if it wasn't this week, it definitely would have been next week. I'm sorry.
And this way you didn't
No.
have to get up in front of people and do stand-up. So like, honestly, count your blessings, girl. Like I said, it's gonna be the stand-up challenge next week. Curious to see how that goes. Those are either very funny or some of the worst episodes, depending on how you feel about secondhand embarrassment. So we will see how that goes. We're here every week. And just a reminder to be here for your local queens. Go out and support them, especially in this time. So again, we'll see you next week.